My name is Lauren Wilson from Columbia, Missouri on February 25th, 2016, and I present to you faults in our legal system. In Adnan Syed's case, there was not sufficient enough evidence to have put Adnan in jail. In case you haven't already heard about this case, in January of 1999, Adnan Syed was convicted for first-degree murder of his ex-girlfriend, Heyman Lee. He has claimed his innocence for over 15 years, yet he remains in jail. Jay, an acquaintance to Adnan, claimed that Adnan did kill Hay and that he was with him at this time and helped him bury Hay's body. Adnan says this isn't true. There are so many arguments brought up whether he's innocent or guilty, however, none of these contain any concrete evidence. It seems to be more of he said, she said nonsense, and that's why he remains in jail. To start off, Jay blamed Adnan for murdering Hay, but each trial his story changes. Uric, the prosecutor, got Jay a lawyer, which never happens, so he could have had Jay to try to lie to get someone to blame. The whole case is built off of what Jay's testimony says. Jay admitted to helping bury Hay's body, but he confessed and told everything that happened to the police, so he didn't have any jail time. So it makes no sense to me is how can an entire case be based off of one person's claim against another person, especially when he is obviously not consistent with his stories and the prosecutor provided a lawyer. This seems very unfair to me. Major problem in this case were Adnan's phone records from the day Hay died. For the most parts, the locations found where his phone pinged matched Jay's stories. A few minor errors here and there, but nothing much. However, Jay had access to these before he made his testimony. Adnan claimed that someone else had his phone that day and that he was at school. However, there was a call to Nisha, someone only Adnan knew. He believed this had to have been a butt dial. However, they didn't believe him because she didn't have a voicemail set up. They later found out that the phone would still charge the call even if it rang for a long time, in this case 2 minutes. There was also a disclaimer found for AT&T that incoming calls are not accurate for their location, which would have been where Adnan matched up to be in Lincoln Park burying Hay. So if the phone records can't even be that accurate, why are they still being used against Adnan? People had a lot of strong opinions about Adnan. Some people thought he was the sweetest guy ever, while others thought he could totally be the one who killed Hay. They think Adnan has always had some sort of dark side. In court, people's opinions of Adnan were spoken a lot by those who knew him. However, this should be irrelevant. You can't arrest somebody just by the feelings other people have about him. There was no fingerprints or evidence of it actually being Adnan who killed Hay. The fibers around Hay's body and objects were never tested to figure out whom the killer was, so until they are tested, Adnan should not be in jail for the feelings of others. Adnan also had a very unstable lawyer, Christina Gutierrez. She was getting very sick and exhausted, and she never got her point across to the court the way she should have. It was always longed out. She scammed families for money. She told Adnan not to testify in court, which only made the court view him as more suspicious. She also didn't look into an alibi for him, Asia McLean. She claimed she saw Adnan the day Hay was killed after school at the library. If this whole story was based off the opposite alibi, Jay, against Adnan, then Asia should have been looked into for support for Adnan. There was a lot of behind-the-scenes prejudice in this case. There was a report found that said because he was Muslim, it was part of their culture to treat women poorly, and by killing Hay, it was fulfilling his duty or honor. The court tried to weed out all the prejudiced jurors, yet it still remained in the background of the case and is partially the reason Adnan is still in jail. Some people say Adnan should stay in jail. The police had to have gotten the right guy, right? Adnan seemed to be the guy since he was the ex-boyfriend and seemed to be able to kill somebody. Adnan didn't testify in court, but Jay did. Jay's story makes Adnan look guilty. This is all wrong. The police have put the innocent guy in jail hundreds of times. The court just wants someone to be at fault, so others can rest easier about what happened. You can't base a case off of what someone seems and base off of the other stories about him. The whole court system failed at their job because they didn't find any hard evidence against Adnan. It was all based on assumptions and what others say happened, not based on fingerprints or any other type of real evidence. Even with these people who believe Adnan should be in jail, there is no hard evidence against him, and without sufficient evidence, he should not be in jail. With shady business with Jay, unreliable phone, records, people's biased opinions, a bad lawyer, and prejudice, Adnan was placed in jail. However, this isn't true evidence that should have placed him there. Our government needs to look more into stuff before they put people in jail for life. They need to test for fingerprints and not base an entire case off of one unreliable source.